What's going on, guys? Tom Costanza here, back with another YouTube video, posting videos every single Sunday morning. Today we are doing a little bit of an experiment. I've never seen it done before, but we are going to be making pizza ravioli. I'm not sure how it's going to come out, but I know it's going to taste good. Let's get started. First thing that we need to do is make a list of ingredients that we need to get and go to the store and get them. Okay, we are back. Got all of our ingredients. Let's see what we got. Okay, so for our ingredients, we have all-purpose flour, of course. We have extra virgin olive oil, ricotta cheese, fresh mozzarella, some tomato paste. So I'm going to be using the tomato paste in with the pasta dough to see if we can get a little bit of a pizza flavor, and also it's going to give it a big red color. Naturally, we have salt and pepper, and then some parsley and nutmeg. And then lastly, for the fancy gadgets, we have a pasta roller and a ravioli tablet. So very excited to put these to use again. I made raviolis once before. They were meat and cheese raviolis. I'll link them up top and in the video description if you want to check out that video as well. But let's get all set up and let's start making some pasta dough. Now with our pasta dough, we're going to do 2 cups of flour. Just going to make a little hole in the center. And then we're going to add in 3 eggs. And we're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of olive oil, and then the tomato paste.
So with this, it's pretty simple. I just mixed everything together and started kneading it. I did wet my hands a few times just to add some moisture. That way I can get all of the flour completely added. And then as I was going, I realized that it wasn't as red as I wanted, so I added tomato paste 2 more times, and then we got what we wanted.
Okay, so this is where we want the pasta dough. It's all a uniform pink color and looks pretty good. So what we're gonna do is wrap this up in saran wrap and just leave it on the counter here for 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes. We have our pasta machine set up, which we'll set up in a little bit. Our dough is now nice and soft. So all of the gluten that we just created and beat up in our kneading process is now relaxed. So it's nice and soft, and all of the flour is also extremely hydrated, so that's good. Now we are going to make our filling with our ricotta that is now hopefully drained some of the milk. With the ricotta, all we're going to do is dump it into a bowl, and then we're going to add some salt, parsley, nutmeg, and most importantly, our mozzarella. So let's make our filling. Okay, so first with the mozzarella cheese, we're just going to cut it into as small pieces as possible. So I'm going to start, cut it in half, that way we have something smaller to work with, and cut them nice and small.
I wasn't really sure how small to cut them, but I figured we're putting them into ravioli, so I cut them a little bit smaller than the size of a fingernail, and I only needed half, so cut half size of a fingernail.
Okay, so we're going to save the other piece of mozzarella. With the Parmesan, maybe about a tablespoon or 1/4 of a cup. A bit of parsley, lightest bit of nutmeg. Mix this up. And then the last thing we want to add is an egg, and this just helps, once you cook it, it's going to help everything settle. Okay, now we are going to set our ricotta filling aside, and we are going to start on our pasta dough. Okay, so like I said, our pasta dough is nice and soft now, and we are going to cut it up into smaller sections. I typically like working just with a 1/4 section at a time, and then you want to wrap up the rest. We just want to keep running it through until we get a nice long thin sheet.
Now with the pasta, there's a few different settings. So I started at 0 for a few times, then moved on to 2, 4, and then I stopped at 6. Once I got to 6, it was extremely skinny, and it was kind of overwhelming how long it was. And I was making sure to only flour one side, because we have to remember the other side has to stick to itself. So I kept on rolling it through, and then eventually laid it down onto the ravioli tablet, and then we started punching some holes and getting started on our ravioli. The big thing is just to make sure that you have enough to fold it over itself and for it to fit the 10 slots of the ravioli. So we made sure to punch our holes into the gaps, and then we filled each of the ravioli spots with the filling. I made sure not to fill it too much. I accidentally made a mistake on the first one, which you'll see soon, but mainly wanted to make sure that everything was filled just enough. And then I wetted the edges just to make sure that there was a tight seal. Fold it over itself, and then I realized it helps if you press your hand down to seal everything. I didn't do it here, but there's no easy way to roll this, so I was kind of just using the roller to press down all of the edges to seal it as best as I could. And then once I had all of the edges cinched, I ripped off the excess, and then we had 10 raviolis. Here you can see 2 from my first batch.
So the first ones came out really good. The only thing that made it really difficult was I think I left a little bit too much filling in them. So for this next round, we're going to try it just a little bit less filling if we can, and see if I could roll them out a little bit quicker. What I'm going to use is these scraps, see if I could roll out maybe like 4 more.
So with the scraps, I made sure to use them as best as I could. This actually worked out perfect to where I had just enough for 4 more. And then what I did was I used the scraps for the next batch, and I continued on until this was all that was remaining. So pretty good use.
Okay, so we just spent about an hour and a half rolling out all of the pizza raviolis. We have quite a large amount of raviolis on the countertop here. They're drying out, and I think what I'm going to do is I have to golf in a few hours, so I think I'm going to go golfing, and then I'm going to come back for dinner when everybody's home, and then I'm going to make the raviolis. We're going to try them, and we're going to see how they are, but we have quite a few. The first batch was the batch that kind of didn't turn out that great. Those are the ones that have the most flour on them, and I also put a little bit too much filling in them, so some of them are bursting at the seams, but we're still going to throw them in some boiling water, and if they cause a mess, then they cause a mess. But the other ones came out pretty much perfect. All I did was flour the dough before putting them onto the ravioli roller, and then once I rolled them out, they came out perfect. Used a little bit less filling, and it actually came out to be the perfect amount of filling, which I was kind of shocked. The last time when I made the meat raviolis, I had maybe used about half of the filling, and I didn't know what to do with the leftover filling, but I think we have about 50 raviolis here, and hopefully we'll have dinner for the next few days. But I'll see you guys this evening once we're ready to throw them in some water. All right, guys, we are back. So went golfing, went for about 4 holes, and then got absolutely poured on. So we're back a little bit early, changed all of our clothes. Guns are out to finish up this ravioli. We have about, I think we said 60 raviolis, and then there's maybe about 8 of them that didn't turn out good. They just didn't seal because there was too much filling in them. We are going to try and boil them just to see how they come out, but we're going to put on some water, let that boil, then we're going to throw in about 8 raviolis and give it a test, see if it tastes like pizza. Let's go. Okay, ravioli's all done, and what better way to top them off than with some basil leaves, just to add to the pizza factor. Okay, let's cut into one and see if we have cheese oozing out. Looks okay. Let's see. It's definitely different than a regular ravioli. It's hard to say. It doesn't exactly taste like pizza, but it's got the pizza ingredients and the mozzarella pull, if you just saw that. The thing that I'm happy about with these is that they actually have a good amount of filling. The last ones that I made with the beef, I think because the beef took up a lot of the filling, it didn't really have a lot of the ricotta cheese. Alright guys, well that is all I have in today's video. If you guys want to see me stuff ravioli with something else, let me know in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed me taking an hour and a half out of my day to make 60 plus raviolis. Now I have dinner for the next 3 to 4 days. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Peace.